Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into a story that really hinges on, well, on silence. Alex Michaelides' huge hit, The Silent Patient.
Right. And the setup is just instantly gripping, isn't it?
Oh, totally. You have Alicia Berenson, she's the successful artist, and bang, she shoots her husband Gabriel 5 times
Yeah.
in the face.
Brutal.
And then nothing, not a single word since.
It's such a powerful hook. This shocking crime happens, and then there's just this void, the silence.
Yeah, that silence is the whole puzzle, really. It forces you, the reader, the listener, into trying to figure out the why.
Desperately trying to figure it out.
Exactly. So this isn't just about who did it because, well, we know that pretty quickly.
They do.
Our mission here is to use all the analysis out there as our guide, to kind of decode the layers in the plot, get a handle on these really complex, maybe broken characters, and just explore why this particular look at the human mind grabbed so many people.
Yeah, we're not just like retelling the story. We're digging into how it's built, how Michaelides works.
Right.
He gives us this incredibly violent act right at the start. But the real story, the deep dive, is into the psychology. It's about how the author deliberately messes with our heads, blurring perception and reality.
Making the search for truth feel almost like a trap itself.
Exactly. It's a psychological game.
Okay, so let's unpack that central relationship, or maybe obsession is the better word.
Good word for it.
We've got Theo Faber. He's a psychotherapist, and he becomes almost instantly fixated on Alicia's case.
He does. He goes pretty far, actually. Gets himself a job at the Grove.
That's the psychiatric unit where she is.
Right, just so he can be the one to try and, well, get her to talk.
Yeah.
Break that silence.
Theo's fascinating because he's our guide through this, but he's also maybe a bit suspect himself.
Oh, definitely. He's the perfect narrator for this kind of twisty story. But he's also maybe the biggest red flag.
How so?
Well, his drive, his relentless push to get to Alicia's truth. It's not purely professional, is it? It feels really tied up in his own stuff, his own past, which is troubled, to say the least.
Right, so that intense desire to save her, as he might see it, makes him compelling, sure. But you have to ask, can you, the listener, actually trust him? Trust his methods?
Or his interpretation of things.
Yeah. Is he just projecting his own baggage onto Alicia because she's, silent? A blank slate?
Absolutely. And that's where the tension really clicks in. Our main viewpoint character is unreliable. Maybe doesn't even know he's unreliable.
Okay, so that ties into the structure then, because it's not a straightforward telling.
Not at all. It cleverly avoids that linear, just the facts approach.
It feels deliberate, like the way the story is told is meant to make you doubt everything.
Precisely. The structure is brilliant, really. It jumps between two key things. Theo, in the present day, trying to get Alicia to speak.
Right, his investigation.
And then Alicia's diary entries from before the murder, leading right up to it.
So you're getting these two perspectives, slowly converging.
Yeah. And by switching back and forth, Michaelides feeds you these little connections, these clues, but slowly. It ramps up the suspense because you're piecing it together from both sides.
And it makes you question everyone's version of events.
Everyone. Especially in that kind of environment, a psychiatric facility.
Mm-hmm.
Secrets are practically part of the architecture.
Okay, so speaking of secrets, the characters, this is where it gets really juicy, I think. They're not simple.
No, definitely not flat archetypes. They've got depth.
Let's start with Alicia, the silent patient herself. It's like her silence is louder than words,
It really is. Her silence almost becomes its own character. It creates this vacuum, and everyone else rushes in to fill it with their theories, their own guilt, their fears.
Like a Rorschach test, you said?
Exactly like that. What people see in her silence says more about them than about her, maybe. That ambiguity around her is the absolute core of the whole thing.
She's this enigma the plot has to solve.
Right.
And then there's Theo. We talked about his obsession, his quest for the truth, really takes him down some dark paths, doesn't it? It pushes his sanity, his ethics.
It really does. That obsession drives the whole story forward. It's not just background, it's the engine.
Okay, but we also need to talk about Gabriel, the husband, the victim.
Right. Initially, he seems, well, pretty straightforward. Charming guy, successful photographer. The poor victim.
But that changes, doesn't it, through Alicia's diary?
That's the clever part. The diary slowly peels back those layers. You start to see his true nature, as the sources put it. He's much more complicated, maybe even culpable in how things fell apart.
Which makes the why even murkier.
Absolutely. It adds so much depth to the question of motive. It wasn't simple.
And if Theo wants to break the silence, we should probably look at who else might have benefited from it or played a part in it, like Gabriel's brother, Max.
Max Berenson, yeah, he's important. He gives us that outside view, sometimes confirms things, sometimes muddies the waters.
He sheds light on the family stuff, right, Gabriel's less flattering side.
He does. And he adds another layer of suspicion. Keeps you guessing, keeps your focus maybe slightly off Theo and Alicia for a bit.
It's like Michaelides is weaving this web. Theo's past, Gabriel's secrets, Max's angle, Alicia's silence. It all interconnects.
It's a really complex mesh of deception and betrayal.
Yeah.
You get the feeling nobody's telling the whole truth.
Maybe they don't even know it themselves.
That too. And that's why the ending, the twists, land so hard for many people.
Because the characters' flaws aren't just color, they're part of the mechanism.
Exactly. The author uses their secrets, their damage, to lead you down one path.
Only to pull the rug out from under you later.
Right. So the final reveal feels earned, in a way, even if it completely flips your understanding of who you were rooting for or who the real victim was.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Beyond the plot twist, what about the deeper stuff, the psychological ideas? What are the big themes here?
Well, the main one has to be just
Yeah.
the sheer complexity of the human mind.
Yeah.
The book really tries to put trauma, guilt, mental health struggles right at the center. It shows how things that happened in the past fundamentally shape what characters do now. That gives it weight.
And tied into that is this idea of perception being unreliable.
Definitely.
The way the story is told, it constantly makes you second guess what's real versus what's maybe delusion or manipulation.
It challenges you, the listener, to constantly evaluate the evidence. Who do you believe? Whose reality is the true one?
Which brings us back to the silence, Alicia's silence.
The absolute core.
Yeah.
It works on so many levels. It's literal. Obviously, she's not speaking due to trauma.
Right.
But it's also metaphorical. Is it a shield? Is she protecting herself? Or is it something else?
Like what?
Well, analysis suggests it could be seen as a form of resistance, maybe even a weapon, a way to control the situation or push back against the world that failed her.
That's a powerful idea. Silence as a tool. But we have to touch on this. The reception to how the book handled these themes wasn't universally positive, was it?
No, it wasn't. That's a really important point from the source analysis. While lots of people praised it for highlighting trauma's impact,
Yeah.
others felt, quite strongly actually, that the portrayal of mental illness, especially severe conditions, felt a bit sensationalized, like it was maybe being used more for plot twists than for genuine exploration.
Okay, so the criticism was that it tipped into using mental health as a convenient plot device rather than a sensitive portrayal.
Kind of. It sparked a debate, you know. Where's the line between using these issues for narrative depth and exploiting them for shock value? For some readers, the diagnoses felt a little too neat, a little too perfectly fitted to the twist.
Less clinical reality, more plot architecture.
That's a good way to put it. Was it really about trauma, or was trauma just the fuel for the mystery engine?
It's a tricky balance for any thriller dealing with these topics. You want that psychological depth, but when the big reveal comes...
Yeah, some felt like maybe the narrative trickery overshadowed a responsible depiction.
It's that tightrope walk.
It is. But what's interesting is even with those debates, the book's impact was huge. It really stood out in the thriller genre at the time.
How so? It wasn't just another fast-paced action thriller.
No, it took a much more methodical approach, almost patient, ironically, building suspense slowly, atmospherically.
Less reliant on just jump scares or constant cliffhanger.
Exactly. It builds this sense of dread, almost claustrophobia. And the twists, when they do come, they feel... Well, the analysis often uses words like subtle or cleverly foreshadowed.
Meaning, if you go back and read it again...
You could see the clues were there, maybe hidden in plain sight. They weren't just pulled out of nowhere.
The atmospheric writing, the storytelling itself was praised.
Very much so. Critics compared it to some classic psychological thrillers because of that focus on character and intricate plotting, not just shock value.
And it wasn't just critics. It exploded in book clubs, online. Everyone was talking about it.
Oh, absolutely. Especially that ending, that final twist was the hot topic. People were really divided.
Polarizing, yeah.
Very. Because it didn't just surprise you. It fundamentally changed how you saw the entire narrative you just consumed.
It makes you question everything you thought you knew about Theo, about Alicia.
Right. And when an ending does that, forces a complete reevaluation, it sticks with you. That strong reaction, even the negative ones, is often a sign that the storytelling, manipulative or not, was effective.
So, looking back at the whole thing, the crime, the silence, Theo's journey, the twists, what are the key takeaways?
For me, it's the character complexity. How their motivations, especially Theo's and Alicia's, are so tangled and expertly revealed. And of course, that roller coaster
The
plot.
psychological games
Definitely the psychological intrigue. But I think the lasting thing, the thing this deep dive really highlights, is thinking about power dynamics, especially in
and
relationships.
the weight of silence.
Exactly. The enduring impact of what isn't said. So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, is to consider just how often silence, whether it's chosen, forced, a result of trauma, ends up being used. Not just as defense or resistance.
But as a tool.
Yeah. A really potent tool of psychological manipulation. In stories like this, absolutely. But maybe in life too.